Hi everyone, welcome back to my channel. In today's video, we're going to talk about 5 things that women absolutely love about men but rarely say out loud. And I think understanding these things is going to completely change the way you approach dating and relationships. Here's the thing. Women respond to certain behaviors and traits instinctively. These aren't things we sit around consciously thinking about or discussing with our friends. They're things we feel. And because they're so instinctive, we don't always articulate them. Not because we're trying to be confusing or play games, but because these are emotional responses that happen beneath the surface. So if you've ever felt like you're missing something or like there's this invisible code you're supposed to crack, this video is going to give you clarity. I'm going to break down 5 things that women quietly love about men, even if we never voice them directly. These are the traits that make us feel connected, safe, attracted, and genuinely interested in building something with you. The first thing women love but won't tell you is when you make decisions confidently. And I'm not talking about being controlling or dominating every situation. I'm talking about the ability to make a decision and move forward without overthinking everything or constantly asking, what do you want to do? Here's what this looks like in practice. You suggest a place for dinner instead of going back and forth 20 times. You pick a movie or an activity without needing her approval for every single choice. You handle logistics smoothly, like booking the reservation or figuring out parking, without making it a big production. Women love this because decision fatigue is real. We make hundreds of decisions every single day, and when a man can take the lead on simple things without being asked, it removes a layer of mental exhaustion. It signals competence, confidence, and thoughtfulness. Now, the key here is balance. You're not making decisions for her or ignoring her preferences. You're taking initiative and then being flexible if she has a different idea. You're leading without dominating, and that distinction is really important. When you do this, it makes the entire experience feel easier. She doesn't have to manage everything or worry about whether you're capable of handling basic situations. She can relax and just be present, and that's incredibly attractive. The second thing women love is when you notice the small things. And I'm not talking about grand gestures or expensive gifts. I'm talking about simple awareness, paying attention to the person in front of you. Some examples here. You notice when she gets a haircut or styles her hair differently. You compliment her perfume or tell her she looks nice in a specific outfit. You remember something she mentioned in passing and bring it up later. You notice when she seems off or stressed, and you check in without making it a big deal. These small moments of awareness signal 2 really important things. You're present and you're paying attention to her. And that makes her feel seen, not evaluated. There's a huge difference between those 2 things. Most men underestimate how meaningful this is. You don't need to memorize every detail of her life or comment on everything. But when you genuinely notice things and acknowledge them, it creates a sense of connection that goes beyond surface-level attraction. What women don't want is for this to feel performative or like you're doing it to get something in return. Real presence feels effortless. It's the difference between observing because you care and performing because you think it's what you're supposed to do. The third thing women love, but won't tell you, is when you have your own life and your own standards. And I think this is one of the most misunderstood aspects of attraction. A lot of men think that being agreeable, flexible, and always available makes them more desirable. But in reality, it often creates the opposite effect. Women are drawn to men who have boundaries, routines, principles, and a life that doesn't revolve entirely around her. Here's what this looks like. You don't cancel your plans or drop everything just because she texts you last minute. You have hobbies, goals, and commitments that you stick to. You're kind and respectful, but you don't tolerate disrespect or behavior that crosses your boundaries. You have preferences and opinions, and you don't fold on them just to keep her happy. When you show standards, it communicates stability and self-respect. It tells her that you're a man with a life, not someone who's desperately waiting around for her attention. And that's incredibly attractive. Women love this because it feels safe. A man with standards is predictable in the best way. She knows you're not acting from desperation or neediness. You're choosing her because you want to, not because you need her to validate your existence. And there's a massive difference between those two things. The fourth thing women love is emotional steadiness. And I'm not talking about being emotionless or robotic. I'm talking about the ability to stay calm and grounded when things get stressful or uncertain. Here's what this looks like in practice. You don't spiral over small inconveniences like traffic, long waits, or last-minute changes. You adapt instead of overreacting. You don't overinterpret everything. If she responds to a text a few hours later, you don't treat it like a crisis. You handle conflict or disagreement without shutting down or getting defensive. Emotional steadiness removes pressure from the situation. When you're calm and centered, it creates an environment where she can relax and be herself. She doesn't have to manage your emotions on top of her own. She doesn't have to walk on eggshells or worry about how you're going to react to every little thing. Women respond to this because it signals emotional maturity. It shows that you can handle life's ups and downs without falling apart. And that creates a sense of safety and trust that's absolutely essential for building a real connection. Now, I want to be clear. This doesn't mean you can't have emotions or that you need to be perfect all the time. It just means being stable enough that your emotional presence doesn't spike and crash unpredictably. Consistency in how you show up emotionally is far more attractive than intensity that comes and goes. The fifth and final thing women love but won't tell you is when you show warmth without being overly emotional or clingy. And I think warmth is one of the most underrated attractive traits in men. Warmth isn't softness. It's not being overly affectionate or constantly seeking reassurance. Warmth is the mix of confidence and approachability. It's being secure enough in yourself that you can be kind, playful, and open without worrying about looking uncool or vulnerable. Here's what warmth looks like. A relaxed facial expression and body language that makes her feel comfortable. Humor and lighthearted comments that ease tension. Expressing appreciation or interest without fear of being judged. Being calm instead of guarded. Showing genuine curiosity about her without pushing or interrogating. Women respond so well to warmth because it breaks down emotional defensiveness. When you're warm, she feels like she can be open and authentic without worrying that she'll be judged, rejected, or criticized. And that creates the kind of connection that goes beyond surface-level attraction. Warmth is magnetic because it signals emotional intelligence and maturity. It shows that you're comfortable with yourself and that you don't need to put up walls or play games. And honestly, that's something a lot of men overlook entirely. So those are the 5 things women love, but rarely put into words. Not because we're trying to be confusing, but because these are emotional and instinctive responses. When a man brings these traits into the picture, everything feels easier, calmer, and more secure. And the best part is none of this requires you to be perfect or to change who you are fundamentally. It's just about showing up with intention, awareness, and emotional steadiness. These are qualities that genuinely make you stand out in today's dating world. So that's all I have for this one. If you liked this video or found it helpful, be sure to give it a thumbs up and subscribe to the channel for more content like this. As always, thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you in the next video.